Yo, what's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another Genshin Impact video. For this video, we're going to go over a build guide for Mona. And the top voted comment for you guys from the channel for the Venti video was, can you do Razor? I currently don't have Razor. The second highest voted comment was Kaching. I don't have Kaching either. But I'm going to do this for you guys, just so that you can have it for the video. I have to, it's going to take me a while to be able to build them out, probably about 2-3 days, just get the resources. I'm using Primo gems to refill just to even make the video. So I know it's going to take me a little bit to make it so that I can do that. But I will buy the unit. I now have Razor. There you go. I will make a video for it. I will go over in the video, and I will use a specific set for him. I have gear pieces set out, but the materials to build them out are going to take me some time to build out, so I can get them to level 60 and awakened, so you can get that done. I do have a couple characters in the meantime that you can be doing, but we'll be going over Mona in this video, and hopefully you guys enjoy the video. And of course, Razor will be most likely next, if not in between. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over Mona. So Mona as a character has a very interesting kit, and there are two things that you really want to focus on for Mona. So first off, her abilities that she has is just straight up hydro damage all the way through, and she has actually a pretty decent charge attack. So as you can see in the video, I was doing some decent charge hits in there, and you can get some very high damage, but it actually has very low hits on her actual raw damage when she's just doing her very small hits for chain attacks. So she actually doesn't get a ton out of any kind of NAD build, so you don't really get too much out of it for her, but charge attacks, of course, are very, very large for her, and she is more here as a reactive character. Now, the second ability, her actual E ability, is really nice because it does 40% of her attack on the actual dot effect that's in the area, and then explodes for 166% of her attack. So attack on her is actually somewhat decent, but not like the best option, because you don't really get a ton out of her attack. She's more like any of the archers that you see, but you don't get a ton out of attack for her. So the big thing that you're going to be using for her is going to be her ultimate, and her ultimate does 553% of her ultimate as our attack right now, as you can see. And it actually scales pretty heavily per level, as you can. I'll show you right here. You actually get a pretty decent chunk per level, and you can see that the damage bonus in this course increases per level as well. And if I increased it, it would be a 50% damage bonus. So, as in a nutshell, Mona is a damage support because she actually gives you the ability to increase your damage against enemies. And I haven't seen the I've seen the Omen duration increase, but like on the higher levels, I guess it's not increased. So it went up earlier, but I don't know if it goes up every time. So the cooldown's 15 seconds. You basically have 15 seconds to get your ulti back up after using her, and that's the full duration. So that's the time frame you want to get your ulti in, and she has a 60 energy cost in her ulti. Now, there's nothing in her kit that allows her to get more energy recharge, but this thing right here for her talent gives her extra hydro damage bonus equivalent to 20% of her energy recharge rate. Now, energy recharge rate, of course, giving hydro damage bonus is a key facet to her kit, and that makes it so that any kind of energy recharge you get for Mona is exceptional. So you don't need to actually go all in for energy recharge. You can actually go mix and match if you want to do that. But energy recharge, again, exceptional, because hydro damage is the best way to get damage for her. Now, the other illusory taunt that she puts out is not really a super big thing. You don't have to worry about that too much. But what you typically do for a Mona build is you have two different options. The one I'm running right now is a 0 elemental mastery, but all in exile build. And this is a build that I use for getting energy recharge rate. Now, the build that I'm going to be going for on Mona for endgame is going to be this thing that's called the Noblesse Oblige build. And this build is going to give me elemental burst damage, which gives my ultimate damage. And then using elemental burst gives my entire party 20% attack for 12 seconds. Now, since I'm already using Omen to get everything up on the enemies, I'm actually able to get large amounts of damage increased, because there's a 50% damage increase, as you saw from her ultimate ability. And by using a Noblesse Oblige, I can actually give my entire team 20% extra attack, making her a very, very strong all-in-one support. Now, that being said, you can actually go with attack rolls on Noblesse Oblige, or go for energy recharge rate, go for hydro damage, however you want to do the bees, but that's a really, really strong end game build. And as far as all of that goes, those are the pieces that I would go for. But for right now, what I'm actually going with, and which works really, really well, is an Exile set. And I actually do go with a 2-set Exile and a 2-set Instructor if I want to get a little bit more Hydro damage. But seeing how you only get about 5% Hydro damage if you do end up going, or sorry, 4% Hydro damage if you really end up getting with a 2 and 2 set base, I end up going with a 4 set because then I can actually give my entire party energy recharge rate when I use an Exile ulti. So because I'm doing that and I'm kind of chaining ultimates, I can actually use elemental reactions from characters and get large amounts of damage. And if I do use a reaction, of course, with an ultimate here from what's his name? Venti. Venti, in order to get large amounts of damage with his passive, I can actually get a 15 energy bump on my Mona, getting large damage there. But if I wanted to just use other characters for reactions and get their ultimates up and chain those, I would actually use Venti to chain up Fischl's ultimate or Beidu's ultimate or whoever by making this swirl a lightning reaction. This is kind of how, the way that you can get an infinite reaction build on your team, and that's kind of how Mona works out. You don't have to necessarily do that. This is my preference for doing build with Mona, and that's the way I typically use her. For weapons for Mona, there is a lot of different choices. For the 5-star weapons, there are, of course, the Skyward Atlas as well as the Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds, both of which are very, very good weapons. Getting an elemental damage bonus, which is very, very nice for Mona. Normal attacks a 50% chance. You favor the clouds, giving you that burst hit as well. Not really my preferred option for Mona, but it is a very, very good weapon. And the other weapon that you can get with her is the Lost Prayer of the Sacred Winds. Now, this is actually a very interesting weapon that you can use for Mona because it gives you 10% MS, and Mona is already the fastest possible character in the game. And because you're getting a little bit extra bump on your MS, it might help you with getting a little bit better dodges because one of her biggest problems in her kit is going to be her iframe. And if you haven't seen that out, or I've issued the iframe, I'd go over my previous Mona showcase. You can check that out there so you know more about it. Link to that in the description below. Okay, when in battle, you actually get 6 to 14% elemental damage bonus every 4 seconds. Makes it at level 1 is 24% elemental damage bonus. So it only takes a total of 8 seconds for it to be better than the Skyward Atlas. However, seeing how I use Mona to like pop her ulti, switch off of Mona, go back into the fight with another character to get primary damage from another character, I typically don't do that. However, if I am doing elemental charge reactions with Beidu, and I end up going with a I ended up going with a Beidu ultimate and then switching back to Mona to do large amounts of damage using her ultimate and chaining reactions there. That is a great way to get more elemental damage bonus. You might actually be a very, very good weapon for her. So as far as between the two, they're both amazing options. There's no best pick between the two because they're both great, incredible weapons. A couple different play styles that you can do for a 4-star weapon, and all of which are very interesting options. The first weapon that you can go with is the Widsith, which is actually giving you an RNG buff based on either attack, elemental mastery, or elemental damage. And because it actually has a C damage proc on it, it's not really my favorite build for her because it doesn't really give you the thing that you really, really want on her, and it's not really my cup of tea. Especially since Mona has a base crit rate of 5%, you only get into the pieces that's going to boost your crit chance. I don't really find that to be the best in slot weapon for a 4-star unless you're going to be going for on the last slot on your actual weapons a crit chance piece. And it seems like the Widsith is an okay weapon for her, but it's really kind of hit and miss for the C damage variant. The Solo Pearl, however, is an interesting weapon because all you have to do is 1 auto attack in order to boost your total amount of damage for your elemental burst. Of course, this is a pay-to-play weapon only because you can get it for $10 if you do the battle pass, and then you actually get up to rank 30. That's the only way to get it right now. I don't know if you're gonna get it otherwise, but that is a very good option for Mona. That's probably going to be one of the weapons I'm focusing on the most. The current weapon I have right now, of course, is none of these. I wish, right? The free-to-play weapon I would recommend, of course, is going to be the Mappa Mare. The Mappa Mare is going to increase elemental reaction. Triggering elemental reaction grants 10% elemental damage bonus for 10 seconds, and I believe that would be a very, very strong weapon for her if you're going to be triggering elemental reactions inside of Venti Swirl or using her in different ways. That is a very good weapon for her. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely a good way to go. The one I have right now is the Favonius Codex, and to be honest with you, that is probably one of the better weapons to go with too, because the Favonius Codex is a very, very strong weapon if you're getting energy recharge rate, because all the energy recharge you get, 20% that's going to be transferred directly into your actual hydro damage. And you do get energy recharge on the weapon as well, so it may be good for charging ultis, but I don't think you actually need to do it that route. I think you'll be okay even without the Favonius Codex for energy recharge rate. I think you'll be better off going with like a Mappa Mare or potentially a Sorrel Pearl or a Widsith if you have any of those weapons. I think I can't really choose between the three. Whichever one you can actually get is best. I would say that no matter what, you're in a safe choice. There's no negative choice there. The one I would go for really is the Prototype Malice, because it's a base HP roll, and you really don't need that on Mona. But if whatever weapon you do have, I've been also, of course, of the Eye of Perception for normal and charge attacks. I have a 50% chance of giving you that burst hit. This would be also an interesting thing to do for her, because that would help you potentially, you know, get a little bit extra damage in her. But you may not do a ton of damage because maybe you're focused more on hydro damage, energy recharge rate, or elemental mastery on your build, or even crit chance. So you may not have enough attack to even utilize that effectively. So I don't know if I would have focused on the Eye of Perception per se, but it's definitely a way you potentially could go. Solar Pearl is probably one of the better options because you can actually boost your overall elemental burst damage, which is very, very strong, and the fact that it caps at 40% is very, very good as well. If you do end up getting some other characters in your kit to try out other things, Widzith is also good, so just go with the best option you can. Craftable options are all good. For 3-star weapons, the only thing that's really good is the Magic Guide. I have used the Magic Guide. It does work pretty well, so you can get a 24% damage bonus if you are just looking to just do a very light free-to-play build on this and actually not invest too much into 4-star weapons, but not try to build out for her. That is the best possible 3-star weapon to go for. There are other weapons you could potentially go for that, like the Amber Catalyst, if you wanted to go that, normal attacks increasing elemental damage. That's an okay option, but like I personally think that the Magic Guide is a much better option because you're always going to inflict hydro every time you attack. So it's probably a little bit better. Plus, you know, elemental mastery is the same on both, so what are you gonna do? Early game set, of course, my recommendation is the Exile set. Stay with that as long as you can, and then when you're able to get to like AR rank 35, most likely AR rank 40, then you can try to start ranking over to a Noblesse Oblige. You don't really need it. The nice thing about her is you don't have to switch between gear sets between her. You just basically got to go straight for one side of the thing, and Noblesse Oblige is the best way to go in my personal opinion. The other thing is that there's no hydro damage characters in the sets in the entire game, so you don't actually have to worry about going for a different hydro damage peach. Noblesse Oblige is more than good enough, and you should be perfectly fine with that. The only other weapons that you can consider would be the Wanderer's Troop, and personally I would much rather stay with an Exile set in order to give myself more energy recharge rate and actually chain ultimates than I would even consider going directly for that. The Scholar set, giving you 3 energy recharge to all party members who have Bow or Catalyst, is also an interesting choice. You could potentially go for that if you wanted to upgrade from an Exile set to a Scholar set to keep with your energy recharge style build. That would be a viable option, but my personal opinion is that's kind of a waste of resources because you've already pretty much leveled up your Exile set, and you'll be sticking with that for the remainder of the game until you get the Noblesse Oblige. But alright guys, my name is Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did enjoy the video, of course, like and subscribe, all the fun stuff, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.